What's good? What's good, my beautiful infinite beings? Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, welcome. Like, share, subscribe, and share the video. And don't forget to mash the bell so you don't miss another one of my posted videos. What do you believe? Have you ever been trying to purchase a new car and you decided that you wanted a specific kind of car, and then you got that car and all of a sudden you start to see that car everywhere? Thoughts are energy, and what we focus on grows. Today we'll look at links between cognitive dissonance and rumination and the interplay with triggering. Let's dive into how we can co-create our reality by tapping into our subconscious thoughts, as well as how we can level up our lives by using our thoughts with intention.
Infinite being, use your intention, love your life.
What are your thoughts? Whatever your subconscious mind deems to be your reality, the subconscious mind seeks out more of that. There's a popular misconception out there about thoughts. Many people believe that negative thoughts should be swatted away or decreased in some ways, but we as humans have a negativity bias that we struggle with, that's back from times when we used to have to defend ourselves running away from lions to be able to protect ourselves. It's how we interpret our negative thoughts that counts. Thanks to a 1930s etymologist and pop culture, there's a popular misunderstanding that bees shouldn't be able to fly because of their size of their bodies and their small wings. However, it's about how bees can fly. Bees are not airplanes. Airplanes fly due to four forces: drag, weight, lift, and thrust. They don't flap their wings. Bees sweep their wings in a partial spin and create little vortices, almost like little hurricanes. So it follows that bees can fly, and they should be able to fly, but it's how they fly. And the same thing goes for our thoughts. How do we use our thoughts? It follows that one's ability to create doesn't merely rely on their ability to create, but on their perception and how they align with their highest and best truth. According to the cognitive science of neuroscience, your brain can process over 400 billion bits of info per second. It's only aware of 2,000 bits thanks to the subconscious mind. So it's really your subconscious mind that goes picking out the relevant pieces of information or perceived important bits of information relative to what your needs are. Your brain is kind of like the CEO that has so much power over so much in your body. And the subconscious mind is almost like that pesky but efficient assistant that's like, okay, sign here, sign here, sign here. So the CEO doesn't have to be like distracted with all of the things that are not relevant to a day's work. The subconscious is always seeking out and perceiving what's in alignment with our beliefs. One of the things that should be done when you're working on self is to really go in to your inner self and determine what your subconscious mind is perceiving as truth. What are your true beliefs? That's why that quote from Henry Ford is also so relevant. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. We have a negative feedback loop in our brains, which really served us at one time to run away from tigers. It triggered a response of fight, flight, or freeze. But now we're running from a new kind of stress, like a boss that we find stressful, or a work issue, or the pandemic. Our brain doesn't know the difference, even in this new time. And it offers the stress response, which locks us down. If we remain in fight or flight and stress is prolonged, it leads to chronic inflammation and eventually likely chronic disease. Although there are many causes of disease, some of it can be genetics, it can be in the food we eat, it can be exposure to the toxicity of our environment, chemicals, and things that we just take for granted. I have a whole video on that, so check out the link in my description box. One of the main reasons that affects how we either get disease or make it through disease is our thought life. When we enforce a vulnerability pattern that is derived from our a feedback loop and our own patterning and triggering, we reinforce a vulnerability pattern, which increases our chance for chronic disease. Toxic thoughts, perhaps from a negative emotion or learning pattern, keep you locked into a space, a pattern, and then those thoughts grow within our own minds and hold back our ability to escape that patterning. One of the characters that I used to like on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay, yeah, I'm a geek girl and I like sci-fi. But there was a character called Yo-Yo. Her big gift was that she could run really fast and then she would snap back. And this really helped to go beat up people or move things or take guns or whatever it is she was on a mission to do, but she always snapped back to her same position. And then one day she got really ill from alien technology, and she couldn't do it anymore. And she had to face her demons, her own thoughts. Her thought life was poisoning her. And the fact that she was dwelling in the place of guilt, anger, sadness, which is how many of us live, affected her ability to do that gift anymore, to be able to go and bounce back. She managed to tap into her inner self. She honed into her special gift and into those negative feelings, and she was able to move forward. Going forward, instead of just snapping back to where she was, she could make a choice to either snap back or she could stay where she was. If she needed to get some place in a hurry and stay where she was and continue to do things, she wouldn't be just dragged back in to her old patterning, but she could reside where she needed to be to affect change. And that's so many of us. In behavioral psychology, cognitive dissonance is a term that highlights the conflict between our inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes with that of our behavioral outcome. I had a client, a male Christian, and yes, he gave me the okay to talk about this. He would always talk about having great wealth, and as a Christian, he believed that he would have abundance in all aspects of his life, not just wealth, and that he would live a completely free existence. However, he consistently overspent to the point of not being able to afford things. Many times I would find that he would be complaining about what he didn't have. I asked him why all of the negative speaking, why he seemed to be in such opposition with his situation. And I wondered, would he was prepared to do to reverse any of that. He first started to talk about how people don't like him and his boss was very difficult and a bunch of other, we'll say, excuses. Once we drill down, he realized that he had a real fear that his success would shift the relationships around him, that of his family, that of the people close to him, friends, that maybe they wouldn't identify with him in the same way. He was concerned that if he really succeeded, that some of those people, many of them, would not think good thoughts anymore about him, that somehow having money, being happy, made him better than the other people that were around them. And he felt that others would clearly, based on the way they talked about others who managed to pull away from that fold, he felt that he would lose out. I reminded him that he was on a mission, and that if he let the people of this world stop him from being on mission, he would devastate other people that he had even yet to meet. But I reminded him about Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Once he shifted, he would be able to do great work in the world. The work that he thought that he was really called to do. That by actually having, he would be able to give more, and that he would have a more fulfilled life, being able to do what he was called to do. When we place more importance on other people's opinions and of what we are doing, we lose focus on what is in our highest and best interests. And there is also a loss from the collective as a whole, because if a mission is not completed properly, then there are many souls that lose out. Ruminating on negative thoughts thoughts from the past can keep us from co-creating in our now. That means it just stops us from being able to co-create, because we're always consumed with what happened before, never able to receive what is or what can be. The more you think a particular thought, the more fortified it becomes. We're going to have negative thoughts, and that is a given. But if we can direct those thoughts, once they come to our mind, the thoughts can give rise to other outcomes. 2 Corinthians 10:5 states that bringing every thought in the captivity of Christ is paramount to living your best life. As we consciously direct our thinking, we can deplete toxic thought forms and replace them with more positively aligned thinking. Once again, it has nothing to do with swatting away negative thoughts, because they will resurface. It has to become part of our belief system and our patterning. Try this trick. Look around you really fast and take in all of the things that are red. Close your eyes and now name them. All of the things that are red. Stop. Now, you named some things that were red. Were they really red, or were they burgundy? You were trying to get the job done and be successful in some type of way, likely. Focus your thoughts on how you can affect positive change within your life. And you can do that in many ways. Maybe through meditation, through just walking out in nature, being still, with formulating different stories or reframing stories around things that have happened to you, because negative things do happen, difficult situations arise, but it's the story we tell ourselves that shift our focus. And once we start seeing things in a different way, the old stories that we told ourselves fall away. In order to realize your dreams, to heal your body, you must first look within. Just like my clients, time after time, the answers are in there. But if you do the work, you can make the shift. And this is one of the ways that I love to help with Infinite Being. If you'd like to reach out to me, my contact information is also below. So how do we win? Perhaps if it's a quick happening, take a moment and breathe. Try not to just simply react. I've even found sometimes where something might be really, really irritating and you just take a moment, 3 breaths, and you're not as angry, or you're not as disappointed. Or you can just think in a different way. Another way is notice your thoughts. When we notice our thoughts, then we have the ability to make a shift, to make a choice. Another way is through meditation. You can have a daily practice, and certainly I have a few meditations on my channel that you can check out that can help you clear toxicity and also help you rebuild your foundation in such a way that it's a lot more sturdy. You can also do really short meditations. They don't have to be super long. Like Wendy Palmer Sensei's centering. Inhale up, lengthen the back of the neck. Exhale down the front, soften, and think of something that makes you smile. And have a sense of your personal space like a bubble and push it out from your body in all directions. Smile, soften, and let your shoulders release downward with gravity. And ask your body, what would it need to have just a little bit more ease in this moment? Draw that into your heart, hold that space, and send that out into the world. If you're sending that type of heartfelt energy into the world, then screaming at that moment or being angry is not really a viable option. Using your brain is. Our brain contains millions of almost microcomputers that tell us what to do and how to go, but we guide it. Thoughts are like the code that we feed these computers, which either help us to survive or to thrive. Like yo-yo, you can either snap back or keep moving forward. Whatever aligns to your best self, the choice is yours. So the next time you come through a difficult time, remember that your brain is the CEO, but think about the CEO as being centered, settled and aligned so that it can operate at its highest level. The E is for equanimity, that there's a mental calmness, less efforting. And then there's the O, optimal, the alignment, functioning your very best. To like, share, subscribe, and share the video. And don't forget to mash that bell so that you don't miss another one of my posted videos. Be your best CEO. Smooches. Thanks for watching, Infinite Beings. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, smooches.